By the time of the airing of this video, the Marine Corps birthday had already passed, okay? But today's video, it's in honor to the United States Marine Corps, the United States branch that I personally served back in 2002 to 2007. So stay tuned for that, because I'm gonna tell you some of the lessons that I got from serving while I was active duty in the United States Marine Corps. The United States Marine Corps is the second oldest branch right after the Army that we have here in the United States. So, United States Marine Corps, it was funded back November 10, 1775, okay? And it has been playing a big role in our country in many of country battles. You're talking about the Korean War, Vietnam War, the Cold War, the Iraqi War, the global war on terrorism. The list goes on and on and on and on and on, okay? So the United States Marine Corps, just like any other branch, Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, I'm sure that they bring a lot of value to the service members that they carry within that organization. But today I just want to focus solely in the United States Marines, because that is the branch that I serve. That is the branch that I feel really proud of to be serving of, to be part of, and to have served. So I just want to tell you a little bit of the culture that we have in the United States Marines. So with that being said, if you find some value in this video, my only request is that you hit the subscribe button, that you share this with everybody that you know who may get some value out of this video as well. So with that, who are the Marines? And why are we called the Marines? Okay, so we are part of the Department of the Navy. We were funded back in 1834. That's when we became Department of the Navy. So that's when you go to military bases that are part of the Marine Corps, you're gonna see a lot of Navy members that are in our base. One of the big ones that we see all the time is they run the hospitals. We actually do not have, I don't know, as of 2022, if we have any corpsmen. We call them corpsmen, okay? That's one of the words that we use, corpsmen. I don't know if we have any corpsmen that are active duty, that are part of the Marine Corps, but they all come from the Navy. In the Navy, so if you are thinking of serving and you want to become a doctor, you want to study medicine, medical field, the Navy is probably the field where you want to go. If you thought about maybe becoming a Marine, but they don't have that MOS is what we call it. MOS, your job, your occupation, most likely you'll be better off with the Navy. But we serve with them pretty much throughout. I had the opportunity to be deployed back in 2003. I had to deploy back out of Norfolk, Virginia. We headed out to Afghanistan. We didn't know we were going to Afghanistan, by the way, okay? This is all top secret information, because you think about this, 2003, I'm talking about 2001, 9/11 had been maybe a year and a half that had passed by. So this is all fresh. This is all new. So we don't know where we're going. All we know is that we got to get on the fleet. We got to head out. We got the orders. Hey, you're going to be part of the 22nd MEU. Okay, I still remember, and I still have a book of my MEU. Okay, the 22nd MEU, you're going to be part of the deployment that is going to head out. Okay, so we don't know where we're going. So we're a month and a half on this at sea, and the next thing you know, we get a call. And then when you are in a Navy ship, okay, this is not a cruise, by the way. Okay, if you ever been on a cruise, you know what a cruise looks like. Okay, you get this fancy restaurants, you get entertainment, you got a pool up at the top. We don't have none of that. Okay, this is the bed. It's literally where there's 3 people sleeping on top of each other, and there's maybe 6 beds in this little tiny space. Okay, I'm talking about maybe a 3 by 8, and there's 6 racks. That's what we call them, racks. I'm gonna keep using the words that we use in the military, but I'm gonna tell you what they are. Racks, that means your bed, where you sleep. Okay, there's 3 racks, okay, and we're on top of each other. And from where you're sleeping, you're probably from your face to where the top of the person that's above you, it's maybe about this much. This is your face. This is where the other person is. Okay, and then another person right below you. So that's pretty much how we slept for a month and a half on the way out there. Then we get a call, and next thing you know, they give us the news. We're gonna be heading out to special operation. We're gonna be supporting the forces in Iraq. So that's pretty much where we ended up. You know, a couple days later, we landed in Saudi Arabia. We got off the ship, and we said our goodbyes to our fellow navies who were gonna pick us up, which they did. And that's another little joke that we have in the military, in the Marine Corps, with the Navy. You know, you the Navy have the cool rights because you guys take us wherever we need to go. But point is, we landed in Iraq. Okay, you know, we're there for 4.5 months, and we're doing our operations. This is 2004. Okay, technology was not the same as it is today. We didn't have any cell phones. We didn't have any laptops. We barely had Wi-Fi. Okay, you had to go, and I'm talking about, you know, I'm 37 years old right now. At that time, I was probably 18 years old, going to 19 years old. So I'm super young. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm trying to find my way into a new environment, because at this point, I have not been in the Marine Corps for more than 8 months, 10 months, and I'm already deployed. Okay, I got my M16. That's your rifle. I got my M16. I got my helmet. I got my medal, my chest plates. And I'm going out to war at 18 years old. Okay, 18 years old. You get the news that you're going to go to war. You can only imagine. I'm not trying to feel myself as a victim here, but you can only imagine what kind of effect that will do to an 18-year-old person. Okay, how that traumatize them, you know, for the rest of their life if they're not mentally prepared for that. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not scared. You're scared. No matter what. We're humans. We are just humans, and obviously most of us are scared at that moment. And I'm not the only 18, 19-year-old person at that time. There's so many. But with that, you know, we spent 7 months. We come back home. I lost a couple of brothers, and we like to call them brothers. That's another word that we use in the Marine Corps, brothers. Okay, so brother, we lost a couple of brothers. We come back to our base, and next thing you know, we're here. You know, we're cleaning up our gear, and 6 months later, I get another call. Not me, but my forward operation base gets another call. We got to go to Iraq. So the point of the matter here is that the Marines, just like any other branch, okay, they have sacrificed so much for our freedom, your freedom, my freedom, for everybody else's freedom. And at the time of this video airs, okay, the Marine Corps birthday, November 10, 1775, Veterans Day, November 11, okay, very important days that you ought to be, when you see a service member in their uniform, the least we could do is thank you so much for your service, saying it from the bottom of our hearts and really meaning that, you know, that we are thankful for you sacrificing your service, because there's so many married people that head out to deployment and they have children behind. I met so many of them where they have to go for a year, 6 months. Some of them come back, okay, for 6 months. They come back after being out for 6 months, they come back for a month or two, then they have to get deployed again. Their kids are 1 year old. Next thing you know, they come back, they're 3 years old. It's like, Daddy, like, who are you? Okay? And I'm talking about, from my experience at that point, we didn't have iPhones. We didn't have the Zooms that we have today. We didn't have, I think we had Skype at that time that was kind of coming around, but it wasn't something very common. It was just a phone, landline. Okay? We had to go to the payphone. We had to buy our card. Okay, we have to put in our code, and we can make our phone call. That is how we did. Today is very different. I'm not saying that it's easier, but today is very, very different. So November 10, 1775, it's the Marine Corps birthday. Obviously, you know, some of the words that I had already introduced you, those are the ones that we use. One of our mottos is Semper Fidelis, which is a Latin word, and it means always faithful. Okay, when you hear two Marines talking to each other, okay, we always say Semper Fi, Devil Dog. Devil Dog, it's a nickname that we got from way back in the days. Okay, so and our logo, it's a bulldog. Okay, it's a bulldog with the if you've seen those drill instructors, okay, the drill instructors, they got those nice little fine hats that go around them. Okay, you most of the times are going to see a devil dog with that hat around. And most Marines, I don't have any Marine tattoos, but most Marines, they will get a devil dog tattoo either on their arm, their chest, their ribs, their legs, whatever that is. But that is very common for Marines to get as a way of, you know, saying, you know what, I'm part of the Marine Corps. Another big topic that I want to touch, and this is very important, that, you know, back in 2017, actually the Marine Corps, they had the first advertisement with a woman on it. And this is very important because we had not seen that previously, okay? The very first woman that joined the United States Marine Corps was actually back in 1875, okay? 1875 was the very first woman that served in the United States Marine Corps. And so for us in the Marines, it's very important that we make sure that everybody's equal. Not everybody's different just because you're a man or because you're a woman, just because you're a color, okay? It means that you're, higher or less than anybody else, okay? We're all equally all across the boards. But I'm very proud to say that the United States Marine Corps have actually been promoting women, okay, rather than men, so that therefore they can attract more personnel military. I know that there was a survey not too long ago where not just the Marine Corps, but the entire United States military force was short on recruits, okay? And that goes to show you a lot how much has our world changed, because now there's not a lot of people want to join the military. I remember me back then, I was 2001, I was probably a sophomore in high school. When I learned about the World Trade Center, I said, that's where I want to go. I want to join the Marine Corps. I remember my buddy who just retired from the Marine Corps a couple months ago, after 21 years, he inspired me. I saw him, you know what? I want to be just like you. Once I hit senior year, I'm going to sign up. And I'm still 17 years old at that time. And I said, I know what I want. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. I want to be a Marine because I want to go defend my country. That was the thinking that I had at that time. Okay. Obviously, everything played out very differently. It was not, always, a paradise full of roses. It was very different. But the point is that I'm very proud. I'm super proud that I made that decision, because it introduced me. It allowed me to meet new people. I was stationed in North Carolina for 4 years out of the 5 that I served. And that was in my base, Cherry Point, North Carolina, okay? You got Camp Lejeune out there, which is one of the second largest bases that we have in the United States Marine Corps. The largest one being Camp Pendleton, which is south here in Southern California, okay? The largest base in the United States Marine Corps. But with that, as I was saying to you, it makes me very, very proud that women are now being introduced as part of the face of the United States Marine Corps. One other key topic that I want to touch is, this is something very special to me, because in the Marine Corps, I remember that I posted a post, okay, not too long ago on social media. And then I said, in the Marine Corps, we don't see, and that person may be right, okay? But from what I experienced, okay, the people that was around me, the people that I surrounded myself with, I've never experienced, okay, discrimination, either because of your color, your race, your height, your weight, any of that. Okay, we were all brothers. We all had each other's back. Maybe because I was part of a war. Okay, I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, as I shared already with you. And so that just gave us a different mentality. But somebody that's never been through that, especially a civilian person that's not arguing, but telling me on social media, you don't know that, that's not true, you can't speak for everybody else. You're absolutely right. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for the people that were around me. I can speak for myself. And I didn't get to experience that. And that's one of the things that make me so grateful, very, very proud that I get to say that the Marine Corps, we have that brotherhood. We have each other's back. Especially when you go to war and you come back, there's a different set of values. You view the world in a different way that you probably couldn't think of it before. But again, that is my own personal experience. Now, let's change the subject a little bit, because this is important to me that I share this with you very quickly. Officers, okay? Officers typically, you have the ranks from 01 to all the way to 010. When you see the stars, okay? 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4 stars on their shoulder, that means that they're generals, okay? So it goes from brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, to a 4-star general, which is just a general, one of the highest ranks, okay, that we have in the United States Marine Corps. So it goes from 01 all the way to 010. A chief warrant officer in the Marine Corps is still an officer. By the way, when you see an officer and you're an enlisted person, okay, you salute the individual. Hey, good morning, officer. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Okay, you salute them, and you ought to be carrying your hat while you're walking on base. Okay, that is another thing too that I'm very, very grateful for. Some of those manners that I learned while serving, that we always had to carry our hats. It wasn't, taking it off. And even if you were outside of the military base, okay, you still carry the hat, because that is embedded in you. That's in your DNA. That's in your blood. Then we have the other kind of officers, the chief warrant officers. Okay, these are officers just like, you know, they have their ranks that look very different, but these are officers that were enlisted at one point, but now they're officers, and they were very, very good in their field, so therefore they became officers, and we still salute them. Enlisted, E1 all the way up to E9. Okay, you got the private, the lance corporal, the corporal. Once you get to corporal and above, which is E4, you get to carry those red little lines that you have in your blues when you carry your pants. Okay, when you wear the Marines, when we're out, when we're carrying our blues, you know, we carry our blue pants, and we have the red stripe that goes all the way across our pants. That means that you're an NCO, a non-commissioned officer. Your level of responsibility is very different than if you were a non-NCO. Okay, when you're E3 and above. Why? Because think about it like this. You know, when you're at 3 and above, you know, you have teenagers that you're taking care of. When you become an NCO, that means that you are therefore now becoming a parent. Okay, you're taking the lead. You're taking your team out to, you know, whatever is it that you're doing, whatever it's, if it's in a battlefield, if it's at the office, or if it's at the mess hall. Mess hall is the chow hall. Okay, that's the restaurant where some of the Marines worked at that time. That was part of my field at the beginning when I first started. But those are some of the ranks, the E1 all the way up to E9. Obviously, you got the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, that being one of the highest ranks, okay, in the enlisted. That was Sergeant Major being one of the highest ranks as part of the enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. One of the last subjects that I want to touch is our uniforms. Okay, our uniforms. This is very unique to me because we take pride. We take pride on what we wear and how we wear it. Okay, you know, we got to measure, you know, from our medals that we have. There's got to be certain inches away from each other. It's got to be center away from, you know, whatever you know, pockets we have here. The medals that we carry when we go to the rifle range, it's got to be center. It's got to be in a way that it makes sense. So that is one of the unique things that I get to always carry with me while serving in the Marine Corps, that it made me aware, okay, of how I carry myself. Not just while I was in the Marine Corps, because believe me, all of the things that I learned in the Marine Corps, they did not kick in until years later, okay? It did not kick in until years later. I got out at 22, 23, I believe. I still was a knucklehead, okay? Hard-headed, and it wasn't till years later until I started seeing things in a different way. But I started approaching life in a different way. But it was thanks to the tools that the Marine Corps set for me at the very beginning of those stages in my career as a United States Marine that helped me carry through life in a different way. So uniforms was very big. It was very big. Now, thanks to that, I'm very aware of how I carry myself, how I present myself, you know, the way I take care of my own personal stuff, the way I see others behave. Maybe I'm out to give you feedback on, hey, you know, maybe if you ought to do this, it will look better. But the point is that it gave me those tools. I'm going to wrap this up with this. You know, it gave me personally those tools that allow me to operate at a different level. Okay. And I'm not saying that it was because of the wars, deployments that I had, or the people that you know, specific individuals. I believe everything had everything to do with it. Okay, the culture, the places where I was stationed. You know, I wanted to be stationed in California. I requested to be stationed in California. Then I changed my mind. I said I wanted to go to Okinawa, Japan, which we have another base. Then I ended up staying in North Carolina, in a place that at least, you know, I never thought I wanted to be in. I was unhappy while I was in it. But now that I look back, I'm super grateful that happened. So those are the things that you're going to encounter yourself as you continue to move on in life, especially if you're a young person who is looking to perhaps maybe thinking about in the military, or maybe you're a parent who is thinking about, you know, maybe your child says, hey, I want to join the Marine Corps. And now you're saying to yourself, I don't want to let him go because, you know, I don't want him to go to war. It doesn't have to be about war all the time. Okay. The Marine Corps is just like any other job that you would go to. It has different cultures. Okay. We make an oath. Okay. We swear that we would do what we ought to do while we're serving in the military. Obviously, there's so many rules, like can't do drugs. Your hair has to be a certain way. If you're a female, it has to be a certain way. So those are some of the things that you're going to have to be truthful to. Okay. while you're serving in not just the Marine Corps, but any branch in the United States. But the skills, the life skills that I was able to get from the Marine Corps, those are some of the things that I get. And I'm very grateful for that. And so that's why I wanted to make this video in honor to all the Marines in the past, the present, and in the future that are going to be serving our country because of you, we get to have this freedom, okay? We get to have, my children get to have a freedom that they get to have choices in this country. And so to all of you that have previously served, that is currently serving in the United States Marines, and that are going to be serving in the future, Semper Fi to all of you. May God bless you. And with that, I want to leave you. If you find some value in this video, share it with anybody. If you have somebody that knows that they want to join the military, but you're curious, you're not sure whether you want to let him go or not, share this video. Have him DM me. Have him, make a comment. I will reach out to them and I will tell him I'm not trying to recruit him, okay? I'm not looking to do that. But I will give him some of the life learning lessons, some of the wisdom that I got from the Marine Corps, because not everything was perfect for me. I made so many mistakes while I was in there, okay? And I learned from those mistakes. And it's carried me to where I am today because of that. So to all of you, happy birthday, Devil Dog. Semper Fi, and get some, Devil Dog. Hoorah. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.